A very long time ago, there lived a man and a woman. They both had a beautiful baby girl and they named her Tolani. Tolani was a very playful and jovial child. She was very accommodating and never as troublesome or mischievous as the other children in the compound. Her parents loved and cared for her so much and were willing to do anything possible to make her happy. As Talani grew up, she displayed some weird behaviors which really bothered her parents. One day while her mother was in the kitchen preparing dinner, she dropped the kettle of water on the kitchen sink. The kettle was not balanced and was about to fall on her mother's leg, but Tolani, who was playing at the corridor, quickly ran and saved it. Her mother was surprised and wondered how Tolani knew the kettle was about to drop when she wasn't even in the kitchen. Tolani also didn't have any explanation to that. Later that night, Tolani's mother told her father what had happened and they all agreed to open up to Tolani. She was summoned into their bedroom and they let her know that she possessed a gift which was rare among the villagers. She was also told that in the past, some villagers indulged in black magic and they used it to destroy the village. So now, anyone who was found possessing any mystical powers will be slaughtered. They couldn't imagine themselves losing their only child because they knew her own gift wasn't evil. So they cautioned her to avoid using such power outside the house. She heeded to their advice and everything was fine till one fateful day. Talani was now grown and it was the yearly carnival of the village. It was a huge celebration where all the villagers gathered together. Everyone loved the carnival, including Tolani, and she was excited to be there with her friend BC. While they were having fun, she realized that the roller coaster was about to fall on a child. Everyone was screaming for fear of the child, but Tolani unconsciously used her power to put the roller coaster back in place. They all saw that it was her who did it, and the king's guards all rushed to capture her, but she quickly ran into the bush with her best friend, BC. They ran far away from the carnival and finally came across a cave. BC suggested that Tolani ran into the cave to hide so she could distract the guards. BC ran and finally got to Tolani's house, and with fear in her voice, she narrated all that had happened. A few minutes later, the guards arrived at the house of Tolani and asked for her whereabouts, but BC denied knowing where Tolani was. She insisted that they both ran separate directions and she was at her house to check if she had returned home. The guards in anger searched everywhere for her and to no avail returned to the palace. After a while, BC took Tolani's parents to the cave where Tolani hid. Her mother packed some clothes and food for her. They advised that it was not safe for her to leave the cave yet because the guards would still come searching for her at the house. She was so scared and cried, wondering why they would think she was evil. "If I am an evil person, will I save the child?" asked Tolani. But there was nothing anyone could do at that point. She had to get used to her new life in the cave till it was safe enough to live. From time to time, her parents came to visit, including her friend, BC, to keep her company. She was taking a stroll just outside the cave one day and she sighted someone walking down. She quickly ran back into the cave. However, the man already saw her and ran after her. He went into the cave and saw her bag and the fire she set. He was shocked. He introduced himself as Femi and asked if she lived in the cave all alone, and she replied yes. He also asked about her family, but she lied that she didn't have any. She didn't want to risk exposing herself as she was scared that he may be one of the king's guards. He kept her company that day and he came back frequently to visit her. They became very good friends. One day, while Bisi paid Tolani a visit in the cave, Femi walked in. Bisi had no idea that Tolani made another friend while in the cave, so she advised her to be careful as her parents were making plans to take her somewhere away from the village for her safety. Femi came to tell Tolani that he was traveling and he wouldn't be returning. She was surprised and wondered why he decided to travel all of a sudden, but they bid themselves goodbye and he went away. As directed by the king, the town crier went all around the village, announcing that the king was in dire need of a cure to heal his sick son. It was also promised that whoever was able to cure his child, the person would be awarded a prominent role in the palace. At this time, the king wasn't getting any younger and needed the heir to the throne to take over, but the boy was sick. They sought every means possible to heal him of his ailments, but nothing seemed to work. That was why he resorted to seek the help of the villagers. He believed that there may be someone out there who could cure his son. The next day, the king's palace was filled with so many people. They all came with different concoctions and herbs to use on the king's son, but none of them succeeded. The king was so worried but kept his hopes high. While all this were going on, Talani, who was still in the cave, carefully snuck out and made her way home. When her parents saw her, they were furious. "Do you want to get yourself killed?" they asked her in a very harsh tone. But she explained to them that she heard about the announcement from the king and was tired of staying in the cave alone. She told them that she was going to try to save the heir to the throne, and she didn't bother if they captured her. She was willing to take the risk. She immediately ran out of the house to the king's palace, and her parents ran after her. The palace was still very crowded, but she managed to push through the crowd and told the king that she could heal his son. The guards recognized her and were about to get her arrested, but the king ordered them to wait to see what she could do. Tolani went close to the king's son and placed her hand on his head for a moment and uttered some words, and he sprang up. Everyone was in disbelief. As he stood up, she recognized him as Femi and couldn't believe he was the king's son, the heir to the throne. He happily asked her what she was doing at the palace, and she narrated everything to him. He also told her that he had been sick for a while and he didn't know how to tell her that he was dying. That was why he lied that he was traveling, never to return. The king was amazed that they knew each other, but he was more excited that his son was now healed. The king immediately crowned Femi the new king of the village. All the villagers jubilated and celebrated their new king. He went ahead to commend Tolani for her bravery and heroism and encouraged it among the villagers. He also realized that she was not an evil person as they thought. She was only bestowed with such powerful gifts which she only used for good. And to keep his promise, he awarded her with a notable position in the palace. What we can learn from this story is that bravery makes us to push our fears aside and achieve our goals. So it is advised that we are courageous enough to overcome any difficult situation and accomplish what we aim to achieve. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification to get notified when next I post a new video. Bye!